fellow Star Wars nerds, and welcome to Unlimited Content, the podcast where two brothers talk about all of Star Wars film and TV in chronological order, live and in person, as an excuse to hang out more. We're your hosts, Sam and Jack, and this week we're talking about the Clone Wars Season 1, Episodes 6 and 7, Downfall of a Droid, and Duel of the Droids. And Sam, there's something different about you today.
There's something different about you. Is it my audio quality sounds better because I'm using a better microphone? Is that what's going on?
You know, that could be it, or it could be that I can smell you.
Oh, I thought you said better.
We're in the same place physically.
Yes,
That's cool.
We're both in our parents' home in Dallas, Texas.
Yes.
Here we are.
This is the first time that we've been able to. This is the first time we've seen each other in person since we started the podcast. So it's been our first opportunity to do this.
I know.
And meanwhile, we have also our first live studio audience. So our whole immediate family is here.
Parents and siblings.
Yes. Which is very fun and exciting. We just watched the episodes, and now we're going to have a live recording of our podcast with our family, and it's super cool.
It is super cool.
I've been very excited about this.
You know what else is super cool? Or not super cool, actually? It's bills.
We do have bills to pay.
Unlimited bills to pay. Jack,
Right.
we have unlimited bills. Do we have any unlimited sponsors this week?
We do have an unlimited sponsor this week. Our sponsor for this week's episode of Unlimited Content is the all-new 2024 T6 shuttle, providing the reliability, range, and safety you need for your journey into the unknown regions. Now featuring full bantha leather interior on select models.
Wow, 2024, a long time ago. So it's been going on for at least a long time ago, plus 2024 years.
I get that. The logic would indicate as much, yes.
The Galactic Camry making a comeback.
Indeed.
The first in-person episode. We love it.
Yes.
Thanks,
Felt
2024
yeah.
T6 shuttle.
I feel like we needed an actual like Star Wars-y sponsor for this one, as opposed to our like
Sure.
abstract concept sponsors.
But I've liked those. This has been fun.
No, those are fun. But I wanted a special one.
Yeah, of
for
course.
This one.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So let's get into what we've been up to lately. I guess, Sam, do you want to talk about you went to San Antonio?
I did go to San Antonio. My wife and I went to San Antonio. Had a little 36-hour vacation. It was lovely. It was hot. We had a lot of good food, a lot of good drinks. Saw almost all of the missions that are in San Antonio, like all the ones from the 1700s that like were started by the Spanish and all that stuff. It was really cool. One thing that I really appreciated as somebody who appreciates just engineering in general is they have an aqueduct that was built in the early 1700s that is still operational.
That is impressive.
It's in really good shape.
Do they still use it? Like,
I mean, I don't know if they still use it. The water's pretty green, but it still flows the way it was intended to flow.
That is cool. That's always impressive.
Super duper cool. We also went to the oldest restaurant on the Riverwalk in 1946. I forget what it's called, but it's delicious.
Cool.
It had tamale and
It's Delicious is probably the name of the restaurant.
It's delicious. Yep, that was the name of the restaurant.
If I open a restaurant, I'm going to name it that. Or Admiral Snack Bar.
Admiral Snack Bar. We love it.
Well, that's cool.
So that's what I did.
You also saw a movie.
I did see
Sam,
a movie.
Did you want?
I didn't see two movies. I saw one movie.
Did you want to talk about the one movie you saw?
I do want to talk a little bit about the one movie I saw. I saw Oppenheimer on opening weekend, and it was one of the best movies I've ever seen. It was so good.
Yeah.
It was really, really, really good. I don't know. I'm a big fan of like the non-linear storytelling that Christopher Nolan has, because it makes me like really try to focus on what this, like I was engaged the entire time. Like on it just kind of bounced around like all around to different topics, different characters, but it was one cohesive story while bouncing all around.
It was like jumping between eras.
Always focus. Always like usually introducing new characters every time it would bounce around. So it would like start back in the early days and kind of talk about the show, like Oppenheimer's like relationship with that person way back when, and then how it is now, and then how it kind of got there. So it kind of bounce between those three things, and a lot of political intrigue. And the music in this movie, unreal. It's some of the best, like one of the best new film scores. Heard it was Ludwig Göransson.
Yes.
I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. He's the one who did the music for The Mandalorian.
Yes.
He wrote the He wrote that. He did the music for Oppenheimer, and there was one musical piece that has 21 different tempo and time signature changes in a span of 2 minutes.
That's incredible.
And it is one of the best pieces of music I've heard in the movie in a long time.
I've heard nothing but great things about that score, which makes me very excited, because some of my favorite film scores are from Christopher Nolan movies. Like,
Yes.
I mean, The Dark Knight, I still go back to and listen to.
Same.
Like A Dark Knight is one of the tracks from the soundtrack, and I love that. It gives me goosebumps still.
I have a funny story about that story.
And of course, Ludwig Göransson, assuming that's how you pronounce his name, is great. He also did Black Panther.
Ooh.
So, yeah, he's been doing very well for himself the past 2 years.
Indeed.
All over the place. So that's awesome to hear. I'm excited for Oppenheimer. I have not had a chance to see it yet because I work weekends and it just came out.
Yeah, it came out this past weekend when we're recording it.
I've also heard that like some theaters had trouble like projecting it properly, because like a lot of places just aren't used to projecting film or projecting 70mm. And it's also like a huge. We talked about this in a previous episode, I think, but like it's a huge movie. like just the film reel itself, is like, what was it, like 600 pounds or something? Like,
it's the longest movie I've seen in theater in a long time. It's a 3-hour movie. So 3-hour movie, 70mm film, IMAX. Like it's gonna be a giant reel of film. It's nuts.
Yes, my hope is to. When I see it is I want to go see it at the Bob Bullock IMAX Museum, the Bob Bullock Museum in Austin, because it's like, I think it's the biggest IMAX screen in Texas. I believe, at least definitely in that area, but I think maybe in Texas, and it's a great theater. Well, that's cool. Yeah, you had a story?
So, just one thought I want to get out before is this is the loudest movie I've ever seen. There are a lot of like, I don't want to call them jump scares, but it's just like. There are explosions. The movie's about a bomb, so there's going to be explosions, and it kind of plays with your expectation of like when the explosions are going to come, because like they're doing testing of these things like a couple miles away, so it takes a little bit for the sound to get there. So the sound design incorporates that. So you see the big flash, the boom, you hear all the cheers, and then like 30 seconds later, you're hit with the loudest sound of an explosion that you weren't physically present for that like you've ever heard. That's bonkers. Yeah. So. If you are, if you need a sensory screening for this, I would suggest going for one of those, because it can be gnarly.
Yeah. So if those of you that might not know, there are like some theaters, like I know the Alamo Drafthouse will sometimes have sensory screenings where they have like, basically it'll be a screening with like sometimes the lights are brought up a little bit and the sound is brought down and just a little bit less intense. So it's a good tip.
My Apple Watch it gave me a high heart rate notification.
Oh no!
That apparently it gave it to me like an hour left in the movie, and it didn't go away until I left the theater. Wow! It was intense. It was cool. Anyway, story about Christopher Nolan, Dark Knight.
Yes.
So the soundtrack for The Dark Knight is really good.
Yes, correct.
And it's some of the most like intense kind of driving, pulsing music, but also a lot of times the tracks, especially the one that I'm thinking of, I think it's the one that like is from the opening scene of the movie, kind of starts with this kind of like almost kind of nail on a chalkboard kind of like violin kind of thing. Yeah. So I used to work at a summer camp, right? And we would play camp-wide games in the evenings with all of the campers. And this was the year that I was on the senior staff for this particular summer camp. And we usually play music over the loudspeakers that you can hear everywhere in camp during this night game to just kind of up the energy. We played this track from The Dark Knight. And the game we were playing is this kind of like, it's kind of like a game kind of like Sardines. If you're familiar with the game Sardines, where like everyone, like one person hides and then everyone tries to find that one person. But this was kind of like a zombie style game where like individual cabins of like groups of like 6 to 8 kids with 2 camp counselors would go hide somewhere on camp, and then another like group would come find them, and then they'd all have to hide together. And it was until basically like all the groups were accounted for basically in like 1 or 2 or 3 spots. Was kind of like how the game worked. We also had, the counselors were also aware of a protocol that we were on camp for safety. If there was ever some sort of emergency on camp, we would play a siren so that everyone could hear. And the protocol for camp is if you hear that siren, you go to the center of camp. The siren sounds a lot like the violin drone at the beginning of that. And half of the counselors came out of hiding thinking that an emergency had happened and like just follow protocol like they're supposed to. And I was just out of the camp like, what are you guys doing? Like, isn't that the siren? Like, no, that's the Dark Knight soundtrack. What are you doing? And they were, I was not the most popular person at camp that week. Let's put it that way. There were a lot of counselors who were mad at me, but I thought it was hilarious.
In retrospect, I also think it was hilarious.
Oh, it's hysterical. But that's my story about the Dark Knight Rises or Dark Knight soundtrack.
That's incredible. Speaking of which, did you know that opening sound? Did you know that is actually an electric guitar being played with a bow?
That makes sense.
Yeah,
I can hear it. I see it.
Yeah,
love that.
So that's cool.
Nice.
Fun fact for you.
This is a fun fact.
Yeah. Well, Oppenheimer, you recommend it? Thumbs up.
Highly recommend it. 2 thumbs up, not just 1.
Whoa,
Jack, what have you been up to?
Let's see. Something I've been watching recently is a show that came out. That premiered fairly recently. It's still coming out. It's with its first season. It's called My Adventures with Superman. Have you heard of this?
I have not.
It's on Adult Swim, but it's pretty like kid friendly, like a kind of a family friendly show, I would say. But it's essentially like the early years of Superman, like his first times in Metropolis, and as a reporter for the Daily Planet. He's like an intern, but that's told through. Imagine like that story told as an anime rom-com. Basically, it's very fun. Like the animation style is very like, I don't think it's actually an anime. Like I don't think it was made in Japan, but it's very anime inspired. Clearly,
yeah.
And the tone is very like fun and lighthearted, and it focuses a lot on the relationship between Clark and Lois and their kind of like meet cute will they won't they thing. It's really cute and really fun. I've really been enjoying it. I was watching it on the artist formerly known as HBO Max, and. Yeah, it's really good. I think that the first episode is free on YouTube if you're interested. But like, yeah, it's a really like good like sort of fresh take on Superman. Like we don't get a lot of superhero stories that are sort of like lighthearted and romance and comedy focused, you know, in that way. And it's also just like they do some interesting things with the Superman lore and kind of the way that they introduce how how Superman learns about his past and where he came from and everything. It's cool. So definitely really enjoying that, and I highly recommend it if it sounds interesting to you.
It does sound interesting. I will have to check it out.
Yeah.
Nice. So, My Adventures with Superman. Gonna look at it.
Indeed.
Sweet.
Okay. What's new and upcoming in the world of Star Wars? I think it's just Ahsoka's coming out soon.
Ahsoka's in 4 weeks from when we're recording this.
Yes.
So yeah, it's coming out soon. That's really all that's going on. We're still in the actors and writers strikes.
Indeed.
So good for them. We don't need anything else. You get your money. We'll wait. It's fine.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, we have unlimited content if you weren't aware. So
we do.
I think
we do.
We're good for a while. All right. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about before we got into our main segment today, Sam?
No. I think that's about it.
Do we want to... Does anybody in the audience have anything that they want to say on the podcast or questions they have? We can have a little segment here of reaching out to the 4 other people in this room.
Yes, I have some.
Hi, yes, Mom. How's it going?
Am I allowed to talk?
Yeah,
you are very much allowed to talk.
Okay, I just want to say, I've not seen this series that we're going through before the podcast.
Sure.
And I have a comment on the animation style, the art style. Every time I watch an episode, I think Obi-Wan Kenobi's beard looks like it was carved from wood. And I want to say that if Pinocchio had not become a real boy, he would have grown up and gotten facial hair and looked like Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I agree. I think that's a fair assessment.
That checks.
That's great. It's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's...
Yeah.
Does anybody else have anything they want to say? There's an open mic here for you to talk to all 6 of our listeners. If you're feeling like this.
Some of them are already here.
Yeah, it's true. Half of our listeners are here right now.
Yeah.
I have a little comment.
Okay, tell us, Gracie. By the way, Gracie exists.
I
it's
exist
canon.
on the podcast.
Sorry.
I exist on the podcast, therefore I can say I do listen to the podcast.
To at least listen to this live recording.
We cannot confirm.
We can't confirm.
You can also edit that line out.
No, I'd be so sad. I would call in and be like, "Hey, you deleted me from last episode."
We're not required to play it every single recording that we have.
They could be receiving
Unless it's Jason,
calls
then we are required.
every single
Yeah,
week.
Jason has to be. Yeah.
Yep. We do have a voicemail from Jason.
There's something in our bylaws that we have.
Yeah, Jason, you are. If you call in and you tell us we have to do it, we have to do it. Unless we say we don't.
Yeah, unofficial third host of the podcast.
Yeah,
Jason.
it really is.
Well, okay. So, Obi-Wan is made of wood. Gracie exists, supposedly.
Allegedly.
And I think now it's time
She's
for us
learning how to be a voice actor, so she might just be pretending to be Gracie.
It might be somebody else, actually.
It might be some voice actor pretending to be Gracie.
Man, Max, you sound a lot like Gracie.
Wow.
Thank you.
So good.
Nature Sweet Max Ford.
Nature
Sounds
Sweet.
a lot.
He's Nature Sweet, that Max Ford.
He's Nature Sweet.
Max wears a hat that says Nature Sweet on it. And so whenever he wears the hat, I say, Max, you know what? You're Nature Sweet. And it never gets old to me.
Based on the look on Max's face, it probably gets old to him, but...
You know what? I was there when he bought that hat. I was there when he bought that hat, and so I feel like I have a connection to the hat, in addition to a connection with my brother, because he's my brother. And so it makes me happy whenever I see that hat. And I just think it's Nature Sweet. No comment.
No comment. He's just nodding.
Okay. Well, without further ado, I guess let's move on to our main segment. Sam, where does this episode, these two episodes, take place in the timeline?
Both take place in 22 BBY.
Shocker.
I know.
It's like every episode.
It's actually our last arc that is entirely in 22 BBY.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We're moving ahead.
We are moving ahead.
Exciting.
Yeah. Next arc, where, if memory serves... No, just kidding. I lied. Ignore me.
Cool. All right. So let's see. I guess we'll go through the plot summary, but first we should read the moral, and then I'll do the
moral of Downfall of the Droid and the moral of Duel of the Droids.
Yeah, but also I got to do the Admiral Yularen thing.
And a triple defense.
Okay. The moral for Downfall of a Droid, the first episode in this 2-episode arc, is trust in your friends, and they'll have reason to trust in you. That's nice.
Cool.
Okay. So the spiel at the beginning. Let me. Okay. An unpunishable offense. After suffering a series of disastrous defeats at the hands of General Grievous, the Republic's foothold in the Outer Rim is in jeopardy. Commissioned to protect the strategic world of Bothawi.
Sure. Yeah.
Anakin Skywalker and his weary battle group are all that stands between the system and domination by the droid army.
Bothawi.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Yeah.
Bothawui.
I just like how you said it.
But yeah,
your uncertainty.
I totally went out of the voice.
Yeah,
so I'm not even gonna try it. I'm just gonna.
I'm gonna say Bothawi.
Okay, cool. We'll take that.
It was we never heard it said.
Well, I mean, he said it in the thing. In this, the thing that I just
no, but there's no Admiral Yularen. There's just you.
It's true.
Come on.
In this, only I am canon.
In the yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
We want to get into the plot.
Okay. All right. So plot summary. Here we go. Because General Grievous has been ambushing Republic fleets, Obi-Wan Kenobi advises that Anakin Skywalker take his fleet out of the Bothawi system and regroup. But Skywalker has a plan to defeat Grievous. At that moment, Grievous's fleet is advancing on his. Anakin leads Gold Squadron in a frontal assault, informing his forces to wait for the right moment as Grievous's fleet advances through the asteroid belt. This gives Rex and his brigade of ATTEs hiding on the asteroids a chance to ambush the Separatist frigates from behind. Finding his droid commander too incompetent to figure out where to retreat to, Grievous flees the ship on his personal starfighter. Anakin and R2-D2 pursue him until a piece of shrapnel embedded in the fighter causes it to careen off course. Anakin later wakes up aboard the Resolute, learning that while he was salvaged from his fighter, R2 was not.
All right, let's go ahead and stop there for a second.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, the whole opening sequence with Anakin going through this is one of those. Oftentimes we'll get Anakin like doing something daring and reckless, and it works. And this is one of those times where it kind of half works, where they lose at least one ship, I think.
Yeah, it works, but at what cost?
Yeah, they lose one of their fighters, and then also one of the 3 like Republic like Star Destroyer looking ships. Like it actually just is destroyed. So they lose like a third of their little fleet there. So that's
and all the clones that were aboard that ship.
Yes. But on the other hand, he did have a cool, wacky strategy where they just had tanks on one of the asteroids,
which is wild.
Which is that is very much an Anakin Skywalker move to just do something totally weird and out of left field and like Yeah, I guess that works.
Yeah,
And then Grievous does what he's best at and runs away.
indeed, indeed. One of the things that I was thinking of during watching this whole arc that I'm sure will come up later on in the series, is that Anakin never meets General Grievous face to face until episode 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
He never meets General Grievous face to face, like in person, until they're fighting on General Grievous' ship up in the Battle of Coruscant.
That's interesting. Wow.
And you know why? So Dave Filoni knows that, like in episode 3, which came out before all of these, Anakin and General Grievous act like they've never met each other in person, and so Dave Filoni had to make sure that they never meet in person before that.
Interesting.
Because
there's plenty of times when they're chasing each other in ships,
yes.
where they're very he's right on their tail. But
yeah. Because we have this whole exchange with Anakin and Grievous in episode 3, where Grievous is like, "I'd expect someone of your reputation to be a little bit older," and Grievous, "You're shorter than I expected," or something. Or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just to make that one little quip still canon.
Yeah, it's a good.
They're not allowed to meet at all in the entirety of this 7-season TV show.
Which is it's interesting that they never meet, but Ahsoka meets him multiple times, and this is the first episode where that happens actually.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's neat.
All right, so R2 was not on the Resolute. However, he informs Obi-Wan that he didn't erase R2's memory, which would be a severe liability should the astromech fall into Separatist hands. Anakin heads a salvage operation to recover R2, but Ahsoka Tano shows him the new R3S6, who has better skills than an R2 unit, calling him Goldie, though Anakin insists his faithful astromech is irreplaceable. As they search the debris field, they spot a freighter and dock with it. The Trandoshan captain, Ganacht, claims there is no R2 unit aboard, but allows them to search anyway. Anakin hears R2's beep and begins to slice through the door that he thinks he heard it in. But Goldie accidentally, quote-unquote, activates 2 IG-86 units instead of opening the door. The 2 Jedi manage to slice the droids in pieces as Anakin gets through the door, only to find Ga, who is angry that his droids were destroyed. Ahsoka concludes that R2 is not on board, and they leave. But unfortunately, Ga had the little droid in a crate with a restraining bolt and contacts Grievous, informing him that the droid is of great strategic value. R2 later escapes while Ga is sleeping, flushing one of his IG units out the airlock, only to be discovered by the Trandoshan.
And there's so many... I mean, throughout this whole episode and the next one, there's so many moments where they're like, Goldie, you're so bad at this. Yeah. And then eventually it's like, oh, he was a spy. It was on purpose.
It was intentional sabotage.
The fact that it kept happening so many times and they weren't like, is this droid defective?
Just dumb.
They're just like, no. So it's like, no, it's his first day. Be nice. He's just a little guy. He's,
Yeah. Yeah. There's like, oops, did I do that? There's a lot of that going on.
Yeah.
All right. So, wrapping this up. So, figuring that Grievous has a listening post somewhere, Anakin decides to go scouting, but Ahsoka sends along R3, saying that they could bond. R3 instead accidentally turns on a tracking device, alerting Grievous to his position. R3 only makes things go from bad to worse, detaching Anakin's fighter from its hyperspace transport ring, not cutting the engines when he is told to, and disabling the blaster cannons. He's luckily saved by Ahsoka and Rex in the twilight. Grievous, frustrated with Skywalker's escape, beheads a battle droid in rage.
No, actually, hold on. I need to... in this moment, he doesn't behead a battle droid. He whacks it with his arm, and its entire torso flies off, which I thought was amazing.
Yeah.
Usually he does, he'll, hit a droid or, tear its head off or something when he's angry. Yeah. This time it was just the entire upper half. He mauled that body.
Yeah. It was not a chance.
Yeah.
All right. Anakin chastises the incompetent droid over nearly getting him killed in hopes that R2 is still out there.
End of part 1.
End of part 1.
Yay.
Oh, man. Jack, thoughts on this episode?
It's good. It's fun. I like the... I empathize with Ahsoka in that I, too, have a soft spot for friendly little BB guys. Yeah. I like little robots. And I, too, would be like, no, just give him a chance. Until I found out that he was a dirty two-timing spy,
mm-hmm.
But...
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was fun seeing this little droid just make everything go chaotic all the time, and Anakin get increasingly annoyed.
Yes. Yeah, especially as he was hunting down his beloved R2 unit.
Yeah, there's this moment at the beginning of the episode, or near the beginning, where he's talking to Obi-Wan, and he's like, "I could go and find R2," and Obi-Wan's like, "No, it's just a droid. There are others. No attachments for Jedi, Anakin. Come on." And then he's like, "Oh, and by the way, there are state secrets hidden on the droid." And he's like, "Okay, I guess you should go get him." Which I like the fact that, I mean, part of me when I first saw this episode was like, I wonder if he's lying about that just as an excuse to go get R2, but that wasn't actually the case. But also, in retrospect, knowing that was the case, I like that he holds that bit back at first. Yeah. He's like, maybe he'll just let me go get it, and I won't have to tell him that there are state secrets on my droid that I haven't wiped.
Yeah. There is a fan theory that is headcanon for me. It might actually be canon.
I think yes, I know what you're talking about.
That when Anakin and Padme get married, they can't exchange wedding rings, but they exchange droids.
I think we may have talked about this in the podcast.
We might have, yeah. But yeah, because R2 was Padme's droid, and C-3PO was Anakin's droid, and now after Episode 2, they follow the other one.
Yeah, C-3PO is with Padme all the time, and R2 is with Anakin all the time. So yeah, it definitely follows.
It does.
Yeah,
I love it.
Also, I think canonically R2 is the only person who knows all the events of the Skywalker saga, because his I think C-3PO's memory was wiped after Episode 3, but R2's was not.
Yeah, at Bail Organa's order, C-3PO was wiped, but R2 was not.
Yeah, we're like, no, we can trust R2. We can't trust 3PO.
Yeah. I think I heard sometime that the entire Star Wars saga is a story being told far, far in the future by R2-D2.
I like that. I like that headcanon.
Because it starts a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, and then it's just scrolling text, like it would be coming out of a projector, or like a projector.
Yeah.
So I think this is all just R2 regaling us in tales of long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
He's a very good storyteller. And he makes himself look good too.
He does. He's always the hero.
Excellent. Yeah, R2 is. I mean, he's the classic. He's the prototypical astromech droid. We've gotten so many other astromechs in Star Wars since we've got Chopper, we've got BB-8, we've got plenty of other like more minor ones, but R2 has this great combination of loyal and reliable while also being kind of what's the word, mischievous. You know, he's not a war criminal like Chopper,
not like Chopper,
and he's not like a weird little baby like BB-8 is,
right?
But he's still got an air of mischievous. To him,
Oh, for sure.
So that's great. All right, let's go and move on to the next episode. Yep. Sam, do you want to read the thing for this one?
Oh, gladly. All right. So the moral of Episode 7, Duel of the Droids, is you hold on to friends by keeping your heart a little softer than your head.
Yeah, and that's another interesting thing is the fact that, I mean. Talking about droids and kind of droid rights and sentience and stuff is a weird thing to talk about in Star Wars, because it's one of those things where, if you actually thought about it, it's these beings are clearly sentient and should have rights, but they're treated alternately like close friends, or like pets, or just machines, or animals. It's I feel like the best approximation for me is at least with astromechs, it's they are sort of how we treat dogs in our world.
Like a super intelligent hunting dog kind of.
Yeah, they're like pets. They're dear pets. Yeah. And some people are like, no, it's just a dog, whatever. We can get you a new hunting dog.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Whereas other people are like, no, he's family,
Yeah.
So, but I think the fact that Anakin has such an attachment to R2 in particular, we don't get we get some, they're definitely, especially in Rebels with Chopper, and there are plenty of other instances where a lot of the times droids are just kind of they're secondary sort of incidental characters, and they're there as comic relief, or to kind of just add some sort of sci-fi flair to the scenario.
Yeah.
But there are other times, occasionally, when we'll have a droid that actually has character to it and is treated as a sort of a family member. I feel like this is the obviously the most prominent one.
Yes.
Yeah, I could talk about robots more, but let's
Okay,
move on.
we have another half of this,
yeah, let's keep
arc
going.
to do. All right, episode 7, Dual Droids. Missing in action. Anakin Skywalker's heroic droid navigator R2-D2 was lost in battle. When a desperate search fails to locate R2, Anakin is forced to take on a new navigator, R3-S6. Now the Jedi embark on a dangerous new mission to find the secret enemy listening post. Meanwhile, R2-D2 has fallen into the hands of a vile droid smuggler and is on his way to General Grievous, who will surely plunder the Republic's secrets hidden within him.
Oh no!
Dun dun dun!
All right, let's go.
R2-D2 manages to transmit the location of Grievous's listening post on a Rusin moon, which the Twilight picks up. Though advised by Obi-Wan Kenobi to wait for reinforcements, Anakin Skywalker heads a risky mission to save R2 before his secrets fall into Separatist hands, as well as plant a bomb. Godnact accesses R2's memory bank and finds that the little droid contains every Republic strategy.
Smart.
Yeah, the entire game plan for the whole war in R2-D2.
Yeah. The Republic Wiki is stored on R2-D2.
Yeah. All of Wikipedia is there.
Yeah.
He demands more money, but Grievous decides to give it to him by stabbing him in his back with his lightsaber.
That's your bonus.
Alright. Where am I? When the team arrives at the station, Anakin separates from Ahsoka Tano and the clones, heading out alone to find R2. Unbeknownst to them, R3-S6 is actually a spy for the Separatists. What? Never could have seen that coming. And alerts General Grievous to their presence. Tano and the clones infiltrated the reactor control room, but they had to confront and eliminate the security battle droids. After that, Grievous orders his IG-100 Magna Guards to take R2 to the ship. Magna Guards are IG units?
I guess that makes sense. Like their heads look similar to the other assassin droids.
Wow.
They've got the kind of cylindrical head with the weird like, the dots on it. It's just they were also wearing like a headscarf thing. Like
they are. What the heck?
The more you know.
The more you know.
Yeah. Also, yeah. Also, there's a moment that this summary kind of skips over when we see R2 for the first time on the ship.
Mm.
Well, he's nudged into this room with like an operating table, and then later on we cut back to him, and he's like completely disassembled, and it's he's a droid, but because it's R2, it feels like body horror.
Oh yeah.
God, they took him apart.
It's like that scene from Endgame where Thanos is torturing Nebula.
Yes,
is what it looks like.
It's horrifying.
It's very terrifying.
Yeah, and it's very sad. But like, luckily, I'm glad that Anakin doesn't like show up while he's like that, because the Magna Guards like reassemble him mostly to like take know. And it's like, okay, Anakin doesn't have to see R2 in that state.
Yeah, he kind of loosely threw himself together, and then R2 repairs himself later.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, meanwhile, Anakin has succeeded in finding R2-D2 and duels Grievous's Magna Guards. Once they are defeated, he and R2 order everyone to rendezvous in the South Hangar. Unfortunately, Ahsoka does not hear him, as Grievous has engaged her and the clones. The general kills all clones but Rex and Denal. Ahsoka defends herself against Grievous's blows and retreats to a room filled with spare droid parts. She hides from the general, but R3 gives her away, this is so dumb. Like, I forget what she tells R3 to do, but I think she tells R3 to like distract Grievous, and instead R3 just shines a flashlight on her.
Yeah, R3, you idiot!
And then she immediately almost gets stabbed.
Yeah, literally a half a second later, a lightsaber comes from off screen. Like,
yeah, it's just across the screen, almost hitting her face. It's silly. Oops. All right. Grievous destroys her comlink and traps her. As Anakin and the clones who have succeeded in planting the bombs meet the Twilight in the hangar, R3's treachery is revealed when he traps them and activates several droids to fight them. As Anakin's suspicion on the golden droid's true allegiance is true. Anakin orders R2 to open the doors. Grievous, meanwhile, suspends himself from the roof in the storage room and is able to find Ahsoka, using one of his large metal hands to grab the Padawan's throat and disarm her. The general descends to the floor, picks up her lightsaber, and examines it. Ahsoka coughs and gags, trying to free herself, but she can't release herself from the grip on her throat. Grievous is confident that R3 had trapped the others, stating that after he eliminated Ahsoka, her master was next. Ahsoka, not afraid of dying, believes Anakin would still succeed in destroying the base. At that moment, Skywalker orders Rex to activate the explosives, despite the fact that the squad is still on the station. Rex complies, and as the station shakes, With the multiple impacts, Ahsoka is able to use her lightsaber to sever Grievous's hand that is clamped around her throat. The Padawan jumps onto a shelf, causing the shelf's contents to drop out, and the shelves themselves begin to topple over in a domino effect. Ahsoka escapes into an air vent and retrieves her lightsaber with the Force before fleeing. Grievous slashes at the vent. Ahsoka was in with his lightsaber, however, the Padawan is able to evade being sliced to pieces as she heads for the hangar bay. Ahsoka rejoins the team, who defeats the Vulture droids and escapes in the twilight, detonating the bombs. Grievous escapes the station in his ship, Soulless One.
That's the name of his ship?
It is.
Soulless One. Wow.
Yeah, no, that is. It's a playable ship in the original Star Wars Battlefront 2, and it was one of the best ships you could play as.
Excellent.
Yeah, it was great.
It's great at running away.
It is a great one. It's very fast. It is very fast. It's got good guns, too. Anakin leaves in his starfighter to pick up R2.
I want to note one thing, which is that I don't think this is the first time in canon that we've seen Grievous lose a hand. Like, I think Obi-Wan maybe cut off his hand at one point in an earlier episode. He definitely loses his hand at some point.
Yeah, our dad is nodding that is in fact true.
Yeah, Dad.
Yeah, thumbs up from Dad. Cool.
Thumbs up from Dad.
He's been watching along. I trust him.
Yes. So Grievous loses a hand, fails again, and then runs away again.
What he's best at.
He every time.
Yep. All right, so meanwhile, R2 manages to open the hangar doors, but R3 moves to intercept him, and the two droids face each other in combat. R2 pushes his separatist counterpart over the edge, but R3 grabs him with the suction cup, which I just got major Larry Boy vibes.
Larry Boy?
Yeah, with the plunger ears.
No, yeah, I know. I know exactly what you're talking about. Larry Boy. Excellent. VeggieTales.
Yep. R2 succeeds in cutting the cable, and R3-S6 is sent flying into the air out, and he is destroyed by flying debris. R2 is then rescued by Anakin. As they leave the system, Anakin contacts Obi-Wan. While they succeeded, Obi-Wan disapproves of Anakin's choice to risk the mission and all their lives to save a droid. While Ahsoka is happy they got R2 back, she agrees with Obi-Wan. However, Anakin says R2 is more than a droid, he is a friend. Anyone agree?
Yeah, agreed. I want to note something about the ending sequence of this. There's a duel of the droids.
It is a duel of the droids. I mean, that's the name of the episode.
Yes. R3 and R2 fight like on this bridge out in the sky, like while the station is falling. You know, it's been bombed and it's falling through the air, and they're still on like a bridge that's outside, and and R2 is like trying to open some doors remotely, and R3 sneaks up behind him, and then they get into a tussle. R2 like uses one of his shocky things to like, you know, zap him and stun him for a bit, and then he comes back, and then R2 pees on him
with oil.
There's like, that's excellent. And then
lights it up on fire.
R2 kills this other droid in the most savage way possible. So like he's so he pees on him with oil.
Yes.
And then the bridge starts to collapse, and R3 like starts falling off, but saves himself by shooting out the suction cup and attaching himself to R2. So they're like tethered to each other. And so R2, the way he gets out of this is he uses his jet boosters to ignite the fuel that he peed out. And it sets the other droid on fire. Then he uses his saw to cut the wire that's connecting them. And then on fire, R3 falls off the bridge and then immediately gets hit by debris and explodes in a million pieces.
It's very satisfying.
It's like, man, it feels very Battle of the Heroes. Like,
it does. It feels very Battle of the Heroes meets...
R2 did have the high ground.
R2 did have the high ground. It also, because it's on like a giant space station above clouds, it feels like the end of episode 5 of Bespin, Cloud City.
Actually, and then the moment when there's a moment when their ship is about to leave, and Anakin gets on his starfighter to like go back and save R2. That's very like the Millennium Falcon coming back to rescue Luke.
Indeed,
you know. So
yeah,
definitely. So that was the episode. What do you think of this episode, Sam? These 2 episodes?
I really, really liked these 2 episodes. It was one of the most like satisfying, action-packed arcs, or even just individual episodes that we've seen so far. At least in season 1. Yeah. It was thrilling. It was exciting. There were times that it was kind of scary. I remember doing some research about this episode ahead of time. This 2-episode arc originally debuted around Halloween. This was their Halloween episode.
Yeah, which makes sense. There are definitely some like
spooky, creepy vibes, horror, like some like horror movie tropes, like with the jumping around and like the bookshelves and the monster reaching out and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and the first time I felt that vibe was when they are on the freighter, like the scrapper ship, and they're going through kind of the back rooms, and it's all dark, and there are like different bits and pieces of droids like lying around, like their body parts, and Ahsoka's looking around like, oh, this is creepy.
Yeah, or like mannequins, because there's always mannequins in horror movies.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. There are quite a few like spooky or like horror themed elements. I think we've seen a lot of that recently in Clone Wars. Like there was the episode when the clones and Plo Koon are out in space and they're stranded there, and that's very kind of like alien sort of survival horror type situation. We've seen a lot of that. I like how many different sort of tones and styles we get from this series, and I think that it kind of embraces the fact that Star Wars like is inspired mainly by old adventure serials, and so because it's such a long series it's all like it's an anthology, and so they have a chance to kind of jump around and try a lot of different things. And with that comes like different, later on we get like a monster movie arc, and then there's like a kind of a sci-fi horror arc with like the brain worm parasite thing.
It's like a zombie movie.
Yeah, it's like a zombie movie episode. Yeah. So we get a lot of variety, and this is another example of that, I think.
Can we talk about the music in this arc?
Yes.
It's very weird.
So weird. Yeah.
It felt to me like I don't know, like action adventure thriller TV shows that were on broadcast television around this time.
Yeah. It's
like I'm thinking like CSI or like Supernatural or like that kind of stuff. It like just very like guitar and drum heavy, which is not
guitar and drum heavy, but also like kind of electronic.
Yeah, so like synth and
what it reminded me of, it felt very like late 90s, early 2000s. Like what it specifically reminded me of was like some of the tracks in The Matrix.
Oh yeah,
it feels very like very driving and like this is the cool new thing. Like you know?
It felt. The music didn't feel Star Wars, but it matched the tone of the episode.
Yeah, it worked, but it was definitely, it just felt weird because it's not definitely not John Williams-esque. It was just like it was weird, but I mean it was interesting. Yeah, I'm curious as to why like this episode in particular was different, or these two episodes.
I'm gonna see if I can find anything.
I'm not seeing anything in like trivia or anything, but yeah,
I'm not either, but. It was interesting.
Yeah. All right. There's one moment I wanted to point out, which is I always like pointing out when there's like beautiful shots that stand out to me. There's a shot in the second episode when Anakin, Ahsoka, and a bunch of the clones are about to jump out of their ship to like dive onto the
that was a very cool shot.
And there's a shot where like it's them from all of them from behind like lined up. And the bay doors open, and you see kind of like the sort of orange and yellow glow of the planet outside, like they're silhouetted against that, and it's just it was a beautiful shot. I always liked stuff like that.
It reminded me of from season 7, when they're airdropping onto Mandalore.
Yes,
that's the Siege of Mandalore arc.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where like Ahsoka is just kind of like base jumping out of like ships, and Rex is there too, and there's.
Yeah, there was that moment when Ahsoka's the first person to jump off from this, and Anakin just kind of looks at her for a second, and I was hoping he was going to say something like, "I hate it when she does that," like quoting Attack of the Clones, but no. Also, there was a funny bit of that sequence where like Rex has to carry R3 with him, so Rex is like skydiving with an astromech strapped to his torso.
Yeah,
it's very silly.
It's to his front, not to his back. Which I quite understand.
So it's like another Baby Bjorn situation.
It is a Baby Bjorn. It's an entire astromech.
Yeah, so that was great,
and a Saboteur astromech at that.
Well, all right. Wait, hold on.
MVPs.
Yes.
And
all right. Well, so let's talk about our favorite moment. Do you have a favorite part or moment of this episode? These two episodes. So.
I did really like the Rex Baby Bjorn. That was very funny.
Excellent. Yeah.
But in terms of like the best, like I don't know, just all the action scenes from this entire arc, it was very thrilling, very exciting, very fun to watch.
I thought the battle between Grievous and Ahsoka, it wasn't very long, but I thought it was cool. Like getting to see them engage.
Yeah.
Like lightsaber duels in general are always cool, but like that was fun.
And also angry Anakin taking out the Magna Guards. It was very, very satisfying.
Yes. Oh, by the way, I think we may have mentioned this earlier, but like, this was the first time Ahsoka meets Grievous. So that's a big moment.
It is a big moment.
So that's your moment. Is the
is just the action sequences. I can't really narrow one down.
Sure. For me, it has to be the Battle of Heroes, the Duel of the Droids.
Yes.
when R2 just savagely beats this other droid and destroys him. It's a cool, like, honestly, it's given the limited amount of movement and expression that these tin cans have, like they made it into a really like actually thrilling action sequence, little fight sequence.
Yeah.
It has like tension and stakes and like interesting things happen. It's not just them like whacking against each other. It's like R2 does clever things, and it's cool. Yeah, so I like that sequence a lot. MVP, I feel like there's only one choice, right?
R2.
It's R2.
It's R2.
Yeah, gotta be R2.
Absolutely.
I feel like if there were any honorable mentions, I would say, maybe Anakin. Actually, I would say probably Ahsoka, because she, leads the mission at the end, and like, she faces off against Grievous by herself and is willing to be self-sacrificial, and
for sure. I would say she's a distant second, but she is second.
Yeah, it's got to be R2.
It's R2.
This is R2's arc.
Yes, it's the droid arc.
Indeed. So there's that, and then no main character kills. No kills in this. Lost limbs. Well, I guess Grievous loses a hand, but that happens often enough, and he gets it repaired, so I don't feel like those
doesn't count.
Yeah,
doesn't count.
And then no Wilhelm screams, as far as I remember.
Or wait, I think Ahsoka did cut off that limb. Is it limbs taken or limbs lost?
It's limbs lost, but like we're not counting per character. We're just kind of like in this episode how many limbs were lost, basically. Okay. And I feel like Grievous doesn't count because they're droid parts and they can be repaired.
Fair enough.
It's like if it's an organic
yes
limb, technically Grievous has already lost all of his limbs. So
that's true. That's just like blowing a flat tire.
Yeah, basically he's like, oh, I gotta go to Pet Boys again. Replace my hand. Okay. More Star Wars is better Star Wars. How does this episode make the movies and the rest of Star Wars better?
Droid rights? ?
See, again, it's such a can of worms. It's like it's one of those things that you have to kind of accept in Star Wars, that like, you can't think too much about the droids, because if you do, then there are big questions that become uncomfortable. Like,
yes.
And like the movie Solo actually does engage with it, and that's part of the reason why that movie feels kind of weird at times, is like, oh, I guess we are talking about droid rights, but only kind of, and she's like, free the droids, and Anyway, I don't know. It's I think what makes it good is that we get more of R2 as a character, and we get more of like seeing what makes Anakin like. I don't think that Anakin's like attachments are what lead him to the dark side. I think it's the fact that the Jedi forbid attachments when they shouldn't. I think it's more of a like, at least that's my opinion, is that like I think they are too strict in their ideas of you can't be attached. You can't be attached to things. You have to be detached.
Yeah, I think it's more they have a too broad of a definition of what attachments means.
Yeah.
Because I would agree that like Jedi have an issue with like attachments versus no attachments. I think like there's probably like there's probably some wisdom in the no attachments thing in the Jedi Order, but like where the Jedi Order is at the end of the Republic era is not great.
Yeah.
And that probably plays into like their over whatever, like their overzealous nature, or like just like I don't know, I'm losing the right word.
There's a lot of like, we're sticking to the rules because these are the rules, and the rules haven't been examined enough or examined recently enough to like for them to like. I think there are a lot of instances of just like, they talk about attachments are forbidden, but that's like, again, as we've said, all the Jedi need therapy. Like,
yes,
it's one of those things where like, the idea of, don't ever attach yourself to things is very, like, it's a toxic idea of, like, basically suppress your emotions.
Yes.
Don't feel things because that's bad and it leads to the dark side. It's like, no, suppressing your emotions is maybe what leads to the dark side.
Indeed.
But yeah, R2 was great, and this episode was super fun. I think that's enough.
Yep. Yay!
All right.
What's next, Jack?
Well, now that we're done with our main segment, we have this time a mini game, and there will be audience participation in this mini game.
Oh yeah!
So, this mini game, basically, I want any of you guys to, like, you can discuss amongst yourselves what you think the answer is, and then, like, give an answer. But, like, this is, I hope this is fun. I had fun putting this mini game together. This is Star Wars or medication. So, the premise is, I am going to say a word or phrase, and you have to tell me, is that thing the name of a person, place, or thing in the Star Wars universe, or is it the brand name of a drug?
I love that.
All right. Sam, do you want to go back and forth, like, saying things? Or
Sure.
Yeah, I'll pick it random. Okay. Let's see. Synthroid.
That's medication.
Oh, is it?
It's definitely medication because my mom took it.
Oh, okay.
Real.
It's for thyroid.
Nice.
That's correct. Yes, it is. It's for hypothyroidism.
I was so sure, like, that's gotta be a robot.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
It does sound like a robot.
Aren't you glad I'm here?
Yeah.
All right. Now, Sam, you choose one.
All right. Let's see. Mailuron.
That's gotta be
It's a fruit in the Star Wars universe.
Oh.
That's correct. A Mailuron. Yeah. A Mailuron.
Star Wars, you knew what it was.
Yes, a Mailuron is a fruit in Star Wars.
Yeah, I read it and then immediately like, oh, Dad's watched Rebels.
Yeah. Dad's gonna know this one. Yeah.
I
We
like
are
how there
killing
was,
this.
I like how there was just like a long enough pause for all of us to go like, wait, does he mean a fruit in the real world?
Yeah.
Or is it
I wasn't sure the answer of that either.
And they're purple.
nice?
Wow.
All right. Let's see. Ronto.
That's a character, isn't it?
That sounds Star Warsy.
I don't know that one either way.
It's also Star Wars. Yes.
I've never
I don't-
taken a Ronto.
I don't think it's a medication. A medication would probably be a longer name.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
That's
sounds like
your
a
opinion.
character.
Oh, we're divided now.
Uh-oh.
Medication?
No,
she's
I'm
just
saying
saying
character?
medication.
I'm saying it.
We're saying Star Wars.
Yeah,
Okay.
so there's consensus.
Okay.
And you're correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Ronto is an animal.
Oh.
You can at Black Spire Outpost at Disney World, you can get Ronto wraps, which are like, yeah. All right.
Nice.
Mithra Nurodo.
Spell it?
MITTHRAWNURUODO.
Can you use it in a phrase?
No.
Two T's. I think
Yeah.
two T's is Star Wars. I think
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the giveaway.
Star Wars.
Yes, Mithra Nuruodo is the full name of Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Wow.
But doesn't that sound? That reminds me of Lord of the Rings.
It does sound Lord of the Rings.
There's
Yeah.
something like sounds
Yeah,
like
it
that.
does. It does. Elven culture.
All right. Reglin. Reglin.
That's
I
medication.
feel like
That
it's
sounds
medication.
Drug.
I feel like, yeah, I got to put my kid on Reglan.
Yeah.
Although I wouldn't advise it because I don't know what Reglan is.
That's correct. Reglin is a medication for reflux.
Oh,
Oh,
Ooh.
neat.
Caffeine.
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 with an F.
Yes.
I think that's a Star Wars
I think
thing.
it's a
That sounds
Star
Star
Wars
Wars.
coffee, probably.
I think it sounds too much like caffeine to be
Yeah.
a drug name.
Yeah.
That is correct. Caffeine is a location. It's a like a sector, I think, where there's
It's
like
your middle
asteroid belt.
name.
Yes.
That's not true.
Unless you have something to tell us.
Yeah, have
Gracie
I
and
been
Caff-
lying to my entire university
That's her
and
middle name when she's on, numbing for the dentist drugs.
All right.
when she's on Reglan.
Zexto.
Oh, that's gotta
Wow.
be Star Wars.
Star Wars.
What? How do you spell
XEXTO.
Oh, that sounds like a drug.
That could be a drug.
Oh,
That
now that
feels
the
like a
X's are in the
drug.
mix.
This is the first one I'm really torn on.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
What do we? Okay, discuss. What do we think?
I'm going drug.
Nice to hear.
Max
Nice to
Force.
hear that.
I'm erring on the side of drugs, I think.
She's erring on the side of drugs.
I mostly just wanted to say that. I think it's funny.
I choose drugs.
Drugs.
I'll go with the crowd. I'll take anything.
That's incorrect. First one incorrect. A Zexto is a species. There is a pod racer in episode 1 who is of the Zexto species.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's our first.
He's the one with the 4 arms and the really long neck. And
So yeah, first, but you guys have had a good. I tried to pick ones that like on both sides, like the drugs that would sound like Star Wars things and Star Wars things that would sound like they could be medications. But you all have been doing very well so far.
Yeah, I was like, we're doing surprisingly well, like eerily well.
Yeah.
Prevnar 13.
That's a
That's
drug.
That
I've seen the
sucks.
commercials.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a pneumonia vaccine.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
thought-
sorry, I'm one of the age that all the TV I
That
watch
was-
has drug
Yeah,
commercials.
that was one of my worries. Was like,
I've
like,
read it.
oh really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So yeah, that was one of my worries. Is like I didn't want to choose ones that were like well known already, like medications that people might know of, or like it's advertised a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
This would be great if it was all millennials and Gen Z. This would be fine.
Yeah.
If you've got shingles vaccine on your list, I know.
I stayed away from from that category, but
Get vaccinated, kids.
Brio ellipta.
That sounds like a medication.
I think it sounds like a Star Wars.
Spell
BREOELLIPTA.
I could go either way. I
it.
don't
That can go either way.
We're split on this one.
We are completely split.
know.
It's up to you, Max.
No, we already.
Well,
Oh.
how about up to you? Because you went along with the crowd last time.
Yeah.
Okay. Say it again.
Brio ellipta.
Sounds similar to a drug, but it's not, right?
It's
On the
Star
idea of a
Wars.
drug,
It's
so-
Star Wars.
You're going Star Wars?
Yeah.
Incorrect. It is an asthma medication.
Oh, boy. We got a lot of asthma in this family, too. We should have known that.
I know.
You don't know all the asthma
I
medications?
don't think I've ever been on Rio like that.
I'm reading these. Sabriquet.
That has to be Star
Wars.
Wars.
Star Wars. That feels Star Wars.
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know, like the cat at the end, like the hard
Mhm.
T. That
Like a
sounds-
sobriquet, that's a word.
What does that mean?
Like, oh, don't ask me that. I don't know what it means.
I
But,
thought that's what it meant.
It's Sobriquets. Don't ask me that.
well, I could have just gone with that. You guys don't know.
Yeah, you literally could have.
So how do you spell sobriquet?
Yes, it's spelled SABRIQUET.
QET.
Medication.
I still think Star Wars.
I think Star Wars.
Oh, goodness.
It's down to you, Mom. It's your vote. Either you tie it or or you break.
I'm going to say Star Wars.
So
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
correct. It's Star Wars. It is a musical instrument.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay, yeah, it does sound musical.
Yeah, it looks like a weird bassoon sort of thing. Like anyway, yeah. So Sabriquet. That's one. Hold on, let me cross this off.
This is fun.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah, I like this idea. Yeah. Pyridium.
Iridium.
Star Wars.
That's Star Wars.
That's not Star Trek. But that's not one of the options.
Yeah, that sounds like a space
Question.
mineral.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it is not. It is a drug that treats UTIs.
Huh. All right.
All right. I'm not keeping track of score, so we don't know. Not that it matters, but like I'm not keeping track of.
We started off really strong.
Yes, it was very good at the beginning.
Augmentin.
Oh, that's a
Drug.
drug.
That's a drug.
I thought it sounded super Star Wars.
Yes,
I never heard of it.
Augmentin is an antibiotic that treats sinusitis, pneumonia, and bronchitis.
I was so kind of like, I never heard of this. This sounds super Star Wars.
Man, we got to only have the Gen Zers and the millennials in here. Yeah.
Yeah, we're so old. We've had a lot of these.
All right.
Prescriptions.
Yeah, not Star Wars musical instruments.
Norvask.
That's
sounds
a drug.
That's what?
I think that's a
Norvash,
drug.
that's a drug.
I was gonna say it's on Star Wars, but you seem very confident.
I feel like that's a discus. Like
Like
a
Novo
asthma.
Nordisk.
Huh?
They're thinking the Novo Nordisk.
Oh.
Which is it's a diabetic insulin thing.
No, Novo Nordisk is like a company, I thought.
It is, but they make diabetic insulin.
Yeah. But that's not the name of it.
Okay, so what is it?
Norvask.
Oh.
That sounds
Well,
like
I
it's
was,
a drug.
okay. I was sure, but no, I'm not.
Ed, what do you think?
What did you two say?
I vote Star Wars.
I vote drug.
Oh no, don't make me decide again.
Say drug.
So we've got how many for
Okay,
two?
drug.
Okay. It is a drug,
It's
yes.
a drug.
It's for hypertension.
Yay, drugs.
Oh, Vask, like vascular.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's me? Oh,
Yeah.
oh no, I said Norvask.
Genuvia.
Star Wars.
Isn't that the one from the Princess Diaries?
That's Genovia. That's Genovia. Yeah, Genovia sounds
That's why I
like
picked that one. So that's what
So wait, so what was the
I don't know.
Genuvia. That sounds. Just because it sounds like the place from Princess Diaries, I'm gonna say it's a Star Wars place.
Star Wars.
See,
It's
when
a Star
I was
Wars.
thinking of Genovia, that made me think it was fictional, but now. You saying Star Wars?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go with Star Wars.
it is a medication for type 2 diabetes.
Oh my goodness.
Well, the good news is I don't have type 2 diabetes, so I
Yeah,
don't
me
know
either.
that.
I do.
That's
So there you go. All right. Spammel.
What?
Spam-a-lot?
Spammel.
How do you spell it?
Spamel.
That sounds Star Wars. I
Yeah.
can't. That doesn't sound like a drug to me.
I don't
It's
know,
an
I'm
Easter
on
egg
the fence.
referring to Monty Python.
I'm on the fence, but I'm gonna go Star Wars.
I don't know.
I feel like drug names are longer, more complicated and fancy.
Well, like the brand name ones can be.
Yes, exactly. Like Sky Rizzy, which would have been a good one.
That sounds like a knockoff Skywalker. Skyrim.
I don't know. I'll go with whatever everyone else says.
I think Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Which was the one that I said? Hold on.
Spammel.
Yes, that's Star Wars.
Okay.
A spammel, it's a creature. It is.
Okay.
I don't remember what it was first in, but I know it from Jedi Survivor because you can ride them. It is like I think it comes from camel, I think, because it looks like it's on a sand planet. And it's like imagine like a 15-foot tall camel with like an anteater nose. Like that's kind of what it is.
And the body looks like reconstituted meat.
Yeah. Well, it's the camel that they make spam from.
that's where spam comes from.
Yeah, it wasn't my best work.
Anyway, I didn't really think that would fool anybody. I just really like the word spammel, and I was like,
That's so
See,
real.
but you had us on the ropes.
You did get us
spam, spam, spam.
Tanalor.
Tanalor.
Tanalor with an N.
Oh, Tanalor.
Tanalorr.
Sounds a lot like
Tanalor.
Double R. That's Star Wars.
Double R?
Double R.
Yeah, I say Star Wars.
yes, it's a Star Wars thing. Tanalor is a planet, also from Jedi Survivor.
It sounds like a villain from the Kirby video game.
Tanalor.
There's a villain named Magalore.
Oh yeah, Magalore on Tanalor. Okay.
You did a lot of these.
Yeah, we've gotten through like half of them.
Oh my goodness.
We don't necessarily have to finish it, but we have a lot.
I want. It's
We're
fine.
gonna finish it. Never
Okay.
mind.
Ixatal Salona.
Drug.
That sounds like a medication.
Can you spell it? I like the spellings.
IXETAL space CILONA.
Yeah, I say drug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a fake drug. It is from Star Wars. It is a substance used to make death sticks.
Wait a minute, so we're not wrong.
It's not a real drug. So.
It's a drug. Wow.
How?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It's a good one.
I think we should get partial.
Sure, I'll give you partial credit for this thing I'm not keeping track of points for.
Good, that makes me feel better.
What was the TV show where the points don't matter?
Oh, whose line is it anyway?
Yeah.
Yeah, where everything's made up of points don't matter. Just like here on Unlimited Content.
Executrix.
Drug.
So your medication, yeah.
Sounds like something for like ADHD or
Yeah.
dissociation. or something.
Yeah, I agree.
Because,
Oh,
executive.
It sounds
Because
almost
there's
too-
executive
Sounds
dysfunction.
legal.
It sounds too
How you spell it?
made up.
It also it could also be like
EXE.
EXECUTRIX.
I think it's probably medication for like ADHD or dissociative disorders or something.
Because of executive function.
Yeah.
It also sounds like she was an executrix. Not an executive. Like the
Yeah.
female.
Yeah, it could also be like a made up like government title or something.
Yeah, like the person
Yes,
that
the
executes
executrix
a
of Spamalore.
lateral
Spamalore.
intestine.
I like that.
Executor. Yeah. Okay, what is it?
What did you get?
What's your guess?
No.
Medication.
Medication.
All right.
No, it is a ship. It is the name of the ship that gosh, I'm forgetting his name. The old guy from episode 4, the Imperial old guy. I don't know why his name is escaping me.
Oh. What?
Hold on, let me just click on it. I have a link.
Palpatine?
No,
The one that they like in the
Grand Moff Tarkin.
Oh, Tarkin.
Yeah, it's Tarkin's Star Destroyer.
Well,
Okay.
executrix.
Yeah, I don't know why I couldn't think of Tarkin. I'm sorry, I failed everyone.
yeah, he's the one where they had to like after
They CG'd him.
Yes,
in
that's
Rogue One.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You did very well.
yeah. I mean, I thought it did a good job. Yeah.
These are getting harder.
Yeah.
Or I'm getting tired.
Yeah. Okay. Revan.
Drug.
Star Wars.
Revan.
Spell it, please.
REVAN.
I think Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
You know what? Yeah, Star Wars.
Yeah, Revan is a Sith Lord. So yes,
From Knights of the Old Republic, right?
indeed.
I still think we're winning.
Probably.
You know what? I think we're all.
It's recorded. We can go back and count.
That's true. We can. I can add a thing afterwards saying.
Hey, all you out there in the fandom, keep score for us and let us know.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments
Leave
that
a-
don't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, get in
comment or a
comments.
voicemail on the special phone number.
Leave
Have,
voicemail to tell us the number of things they got right.
have you given out the phone number yet?
No, yeah, we will.
We do it during the
At the
voicemail
end.
segment.
During the voicemail
At end,
segment.
Yeah.
Glimfid.
Spell it.
Star Wars.
GLYMPHID.
I think that's a drug.
Yeah.
That sounds like something I
It
would
sounds
see
like
a
a
commercial
bug.
for.
Yeah, it does sound very bug-like.
Like an aphid.
It sounds like something I would see a commercial for when watching the news.
Well,
It's
I
an
watch
old
the news a
people's drug
lot,
that we
and
don't
I've
know
never
about.
heard of Glimfid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it sounds like I would hear it.
I'm
in
sticking my gun
commercials.
Star Wars.
I'm saying Star Wars.
Star Wars.
It's a bug creature.
It is. It is a creature. It's Glimfid is a species. Another pod racer from episode 1 was a Glimfid.
Okay.
He kind of looks like a praying mantis a little bit.
Yeah.
Aha!
He's a little buggy. Yeah.
He's a little buggy.
Peacoby.
Star Wars.
Peacoby.
Obi-Wan
Again,
Peacoby.
I was going to ask.
PIKOBI.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
I'm leaning towards drug, but I'll go with the crowd.
It is Star Wars. It is what they call a reptavian. It's a reptile / avian creature.
Ooh.
Reptavian, I like that
Yes.
word.
They can be found on planets like Coruscant, Dagobah, Lothal, and Onderon, but their homeworld was Naboo. Peacobys were known to be quite an intelligent species, as after hatching from their egg, they were already able to walk and swim. They were carnivores that ate tinier critters in one gulp.
Good for them.
Wow, that's a lot of information for something that's
Yeah. Thanks, Wikipedia. That's a lot of information for something that's not real, is the motto of Wikipedia.
And our podcast.
And our podcast. Yeah. Unlimited content. Unlimited useless information.
Moraband.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
All right.
Yes, it is from Star Wars. It's a planet. It's the Sith homeworld, I believe.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yep.
Sith homeworld, yet there's only 2 at any one time.
Anymore. There used to be a lot.
Oh.
And then Darth Bane instituted the rule of 2.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the rule of 2?
There can only be 2 Sith
No more,
at a
no
time.
less. Always 2 then.
Master and an apprentice.
But no more.
No less.
Because
The idea being that, like, before... I think the idea was that, like, all the Sith were, like, killing each other off and, like, fighting each other. There was a lot of infighting. And so they were like, no, in order for the Sith to survive, there has to be 2 of us, and we will do our work from the shadows, kind of thing.
all right.
So, there's that. Exegol.
That is for sure a Star Wars thing, because that's the planet that Palpatine appears from, and it has it as its base in the sequel trilogy.
Okay.
That's convincing.
No, that's correct. Max is
That's
100% correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's another Sith planet.
I cannot argue with that.
All right.
Yep. Exelon.
Oh,
Star
Spell it.
Wars.
Exelon.
I'm on medication because, like, immediately after Exelon, that's like those are put together to be confusing. It's medication.
That does seem like a Jack strategy.
We're reading these in random order.
Yeah, we're just like, you pick, now you pick, now you pick.
Yeah,
Excellent.
but still
What are you saying? What do you think?
medication.
Drug?
Drug.
Okay, let's go with drug.
It is a drug. It is a dementia drug.
Okay.
Plavix.
That's
Drug.
drug.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a blood thinner. Yeah.
We're running out of things.
No, we've got plenty. Shut up.
Borg Gullet.
Sorry?
What?
Borg Gullet.
Bless you?
That sounds like a name.
That's
Spell it.
that's Star Wars. That doesn't sound like a
Yeah.
drug name.
Spell
Yeah,
it.
that's a person.
We're gonna stop spelling things.
Oh, okay.
Making it too easy for them.
I like the etymology.
That's a person name.
Person Star Wars.
Yeah.
Person Star Wars.
No,
Double or
just
nothing.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Double or nothing.
Don't muddy, don't muddy the
I'm going
waters.
in double or nothing. Person.
Well, you're
lost.
correct, but incorrect, because it's not a person, but it's a Star Wars thing.
Okay, what
It's
is
a
it?
creature. It's a creature that they used to torture people in Rogue One. It's Borgullet.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is
That- what,
that what he says?
Yeah.
I just thought it was just a random Star Wars swear.
No, Borgullet. It's the creature that like they used to like. Anyway, they used it to torture Bodhi or whatever. Anyway.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna watch Rogue One.
It's been too long since you watched it.
Sometimes they go mad.
No.
Kozar.
That sounds like a drug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a drug. Yes, it's for hypertension.
Nice.
Feed.
What?
Feed.
Star Wars.
Star
Star
Wars.
Wars.
That's a name.
Yeah, it's the name of a city. It's the capital of Naboo. Or it's a city on Naboo. I guess I don't technically know it's the capital, but I think it is.
I was like, that can't be
Wasn't that one of the
medication. I knew
Dr.
somebody
Seuss
in high
stories?
school who
A Sneed.
The Thneed. Yeah, so it's close,
The
yeah.
star-bellied Sneed. No.
Yeah.
Sneed.
That's
Sneed.
Sneed.
And there's also Thneeds, I think.
It's the Sneed.
Oh, you're correct.
That's the thing. That's from the before
The Lorax.
Sneed. Lorax. Yeah.
Oh, they speak for the
Yes,
trees.
Okay, Voltaren Gel.
That's
That's a Star Wars.
Star Wars-y.
It is a medication. It is a gel that you use to treat arthritis.
Voltaren.
Yes.
All right.
Voltaire.
That was the first thing that like Voltaire, the philosopher. What?
Voltaire sounds like a planet.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, it's the
Yeah,
gel.
that was the first drug name I found. I was like, oh, that sounds totally Star Wars. Yeah, I gotta use that.
Doesn't it? I mean, it
Yeah.
sounds like you take a little Voltaren gel and you add it with whatever, and it's a nice mixed drink.
Yeah,
Put an umbrella in it.
Yeah. We are running out, but
Yep. Trintelix.
That sounds like a drug.
Yeah, it's the drug.
Drug.
correct.
Yeah, it's an antidepressant.
I think I had that once. I think I was prescribed that once.
Trintelix.
All right, let's do 2 more. Predaxa.
That has to be a drug.
That sounds like medication.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's another blood thinner.
Why are there so many different blood thinners?
Turgle.
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 Turgle? That's a Star Wars. That's too unserious to be a real medication.
It's Turgle is a character. He's like a green like frog looking guy. He's also in Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and he's great. He's voiced by the same guy who voices Raz in Psychonauts.
Oh, is Raz the main character
in Psychonauts? Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not in Star Wars.
Turtle's the main character of all of Star Wars. All right. Well, we got through almost all of them. There are a few medical ones that are left. There's let's see, Repatha, which is for high cholesterol. There's Librium, which is for anxiety, and there's Acrivus, which is for multiple sclerosis. But we got through all the Star Wars things.
Yay!
This podcast is now
That was a good game.
Yay!
That was hard.
It was.
I think it turned out well. I think it was fun minigame.
It was.
I appreciated it.
I think that should go viral. I think everybody should play that game.
Yes. All right.
Well, Jack, I believe we have a voicemail.
What? We're going to our voicemail? Man, this episode has everything. It's got a live studio audience. It's got in-person interactions. I can touch your face. Don't. It's got a mini game.
Ew.
And it's got a voicemail segment. Who's the voicemail from, Sam?
Take one guess.
Max.
Wrong. Jason.
What? All right, yes, Jason has a voicemail for us this week. Here we go.
What up? Weekly call. Question for you guys. What color lightsaber would you guys have? That's all.
Excellent. All right, well, I think that's a good question. That's a fun question. I think we should go around the room and then, but we'll start, but then I want to hear what you guys have to say. I'm curious. Do you have an answer in mind already?
Green.
Honestly, yeah. So my logic is, growing up, I liked blue for lightsabers. That was like the color I wanted. I think that was managed because I like blue, but I like green more for a lightsaber color now because of the characters that I associate with. I feel like the wiser characters tend to have green lightsabers. Like Qui-Gon had a green lightsaber, Yoda had a green lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just feel like, I don't know, there's something sort of like very like wise Jedi about green, you know?
Yeah. Bonus question. What kind of lightsaber or like lightsaber configuration would you?
You mean like, oh, you mean like
would you like want one lightsaber, two lightsabers? Would you want like a curved one like Dooku? Would you want a double-sided lightsaber?
Or like the
Kylo Ren
Shoto, or like the Shoto style
that Ahsoka has?
Ahsoka, yeah. That's a good question. Or just have the Darksaber. I mean, part of me just wants the standard one because it's iconic and it's the most versatile, I would argue. But just for the cool factor, I would probably go for the double-sided lightsaber.
Ooh.
It's fun. Also, after playing a lot of, again, man, this game's coming up a lot in this episode, but Star Wars Jedi Survivor, you can play in different like configurations of the saber, and you have single-bladed, double-bladed, dual-wield, and cross-guard, and they're all like fight differently. And I most frequently used the double-bladed lightsaber because it was just it's great for crowd control, you know, and it's also just like I don't know, it's a good combination of like fun to use and cool looking and versatile. And anyway, I guess that's what I would say.
Yeah.
What about you, Sam?
I would either want like the Ahsoka Shoto like double lightsaber things, or I want Ezra Bridger's like gun lightsaber.
That's such a cool lightsaber. I love that. It turns into a blaster. That's awesome. What a cool idea.
It's a cool idea.
All right, Mom, do you have an idea of what color lightsaber you'd like?
Yeah. First of all, I would want the classic style.
For sure. Excellent.
And I'm an artist, and I wouldn't be able to pick a favorite color because I would want one that could change color at will. That would, whatever mood I'm in, whatever.
It's a mood ring lightsaber.
Yeah, mood ring lightsaber for sure. And just as an aside, since we've gotten this question from Jason, I'll let you know that I've been taking pictures of you during this podcast, and I posted one on Facebook while you were still recording, and Jason has already liked it.
That's amazing. Man, thanks, some behind the scenes, this is a sneak preview for the folks at home. Well, cool. Awesome. Multicolor single blade lightsaber for Mom. All right, what about you, Dad?
I like the white with a tinge of blue.
Ooh, that's
Almost
nice.
not quite a gray, but more of a blue.
That's
Like,
cool.
Silver
Yeah,
almost,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I like
And
that.
two of them.
And two of them, yeah.
Yes.
That's like Ahsoka, like her modern, like her adults,
Yeah, but not necessarily the really long ones, but more of a
like short ones.
the short ones.
Sword.
Up front and close
Yeah.
close combat.
That's cool. I like that. Yeah. Gracie, do you have a choice?
I'm looking up references for style of handle.
Okay. Oh, for style of
Wow.
handle. Okay.
Yeah, or like, yeah. So
Alright.
I'll come back to me.
Okay.
Yeah,
Max.
don't overthink it.
So color first. Like my immediate thought was like kind of like a goldenrod yellow.
Excellent.
You don't see that color very much, do you?
Rey's lightsaber at the very end of Rise of Skywalker, the one she builds, is a yellow
And
blade.
also the Jedi Temple Guards.
Yes, the Jedi Temple Guards use yellow lightsabers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you were talking about like the ones you like to play in the Star Wars game.
Mhm.
I'm thinking like the game that I play most frequently that has like combat is Splatoon. And I don't know, like there are some weapons that are like close combat weapons, but I don't usually use those. So I guess I don't know. I think I would do like something kind of like Sam, but
Like a dual wield kind of situation.
yeah, like a dual wield, like with the
Oh, they can turn into a blaster.
Nice.
So you could dual wield sabers and then also dual wield blasters.
Yes.
That'd be cool. Or have one in the other.
Mhm.
I think Max has the coolest one yet.
That's a pretty cool combo. Yeah.
Great space.
All right. I would have a purple lightsaber.
Cool.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You
You and
can see
Mace
yourself
Windu.
on screen.
Yeah.
That's what Mace Windu wanted. He wanted to be able to point himself out in the crowd during episode 2. That's why I picked purple.
Yeah. Yeah, Mace Windu's the only character that's been allowed to have a purple lightsaber because Samuel L. Jackson specifically requested, and George Lucas was like, okay. He's like, blue or green? And Samuel L. Jackson's like, okay, but what if I had purple?
I like the way he thinks.
Yeah.
And I would want one with like a longer handle.
Mhm.
One like a
Cause-
great sword.
Well, great. I mean, I don't know if like great swords are like they're long, but I don't think the handle's longer necessarily.
I want like
With
the
some of
hilt to be longer.
Japanese samurai
Maybe. Yeah.
longer handles.
But because I was in color guard in high school.
Ooh,
So-
yeah.
Ooh, you want to spin it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so more like a
Spinning is a good trick.
more like a
Trust me.
halberd
That's a
situation.
good trick.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I want to be able to like twirl it behind me,
Ooh.
but like not have the blade be there, so I don't like.
Cut your corners.
What you could do is, so usually like double bladed lightsabers, the handle is longer. It's like twice as long as the usual one, but you can also just have one of them ignited. So
Darth Maul does a lot.
yeah, so you could just do that and just choose to have one of them off.
I would probably do that then.
All right.
I like this idea of the color guard moves.
Mhm.
It's
I
nice.
like that.
Cool.
Throw it up in the air.
Yeah, definitely. Lots of spins. Spinning's good. It's a good trick.
It's a good trick.
Oh, you know what we didn't talk about that would be cool is it's very silly, but I love the Inquisitor helicopter lightsabers.
Yeah.
they spin their lightsabers so fast that they get to fly away because that's how physics works in Star Wars, I guess. But
I mean,
anyway.
they have lightsabers, so.
yeah, no. Man, but just imagine like if a Jedi had one of those, like a purple one or a blue one or whatever. Like,
Be nuts.
excellent. Well, anyway, thank you, Jason, again for your voicemail and for a really fun question. And it was a great question for this particular episode. I think it's something that's accessible for everybody to answer. You know, it's
Yeah.
fun.
That's great.
If you'd like to join in the discussion in the future, leave a voicemail at 512-850-6653, and we might feature your comments, questions, or corrections on the podcast. And that phone number will also be in the description of the episode. All right. Well, this has been a really fun episode, Sam.
It has been very fun.
It's been great having this, having 4 guests basically on the episode and getting to chat in person with you and not have the Discord delay.
Yes, that is nice.
That'll make editing a little bit easier.
Oh, yeah.
Although we also have 2 audio sources for this one, so anyway,
We'll make it that much easier.
yeah, it'll balance itself out, I'm sure.
Sure.
Like the Force,
Mm.
you know, perfectly balanced. No, that's Thanos.
It's all things should be.
All right. Do you have anything else you want to talk about before we sign off for today?
No. I think that's it, man. This is a great episode. It's a joy.
Yes,
To
I've
be
been
here
so
with all
excited for
y'all.
this episode, and it was not a disappointment. getting to record in person. I'm looking forward to being able to do this again. I hope someday we can go to like a Star Wars thing together, like either Celebration or like go to like one of the theme parks and like just in our hotel one night record an episode.
That'd be great.
That'd be super cool someday. But and the content is unlimited, so we'll have plenty of chances, I'm sure.
Plenty of chances. Unlimited chances.
Unlimited. All right. Thanks again to our sponsor, the T6 Shuttle, and thank you everybody for listening. Join us next time when we'll be talking about the Clone Wars Season 1, Episodes 8, 9, and 10, Bombad Jedi, Cloak of Darkness, and Lair of Grievous, which is also known as the Newt Gunray arc. So, thank you everybody for joining us, and may the Force be with you. Say bye, everybody! Bye! Yay! May the Force be with you. All right, cut the chatter. Roger, roger.
All right, cut the chatter. Roger, roger.